fucking worry about me, bud.
Yeah. So a transgender wrestler won the state title again in Texas. A guy by the name of Mac Beggs. Well, it's she. I don't. The name has changed already, but like the body hasn't. She is currently in the process of transitioning from female to male. However, in that process, you're taking low doses of testosterone and also steroid therapy as a girl.
Okay, I'm sorry. Started out as a girl?
She is still a girl.
What was she born?
Born female.
Born female. Okay, so now
is transitioning into male.
Okay.
Has changed the name. So it's a dude's name.
Okay. And what the deal is that she, in order to transition, she needs to take
steroids, basically
banned substances for anyone else.
Yes,
but since she's transitioning,
testosterone, steroids, and this has been going on. This is the second time she has won the state title, beating girls in wrestling. Last year they tried to sue. There was a case, and it got tossed out of court. It was dismissed. They're claiming whatever you were born as on your birth certificate is what you are and wrestling as. So she is still a female because the transition hasn't fully happened. However, she has been taking testosterone and steroid therapy to get ready for this transition as a male. She's killing these girls.
Yeah.
Smashing them. So when she won, the parents and the students were booing.
How old is she?
17, 18.
Oh no, why is she able to? Oh no.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where, why is that fair? On two different levels. Let's say anyone taking steroids in high school athletics, like that would be a no-no. You can't do it. You'd be killing, man or woman, you'd be killing everybody.
Yeah.
Like it gives you an unfair advantage, especially knowing somebody's on steroids. Typically, you don't know people are on steroids. And I don't think, at least when I was in high school, there was no high school steroid drug testing. There might be now.
There should be now.
But they know that this is going on. These steroids are being taken and all of this shit. 18 years old. So at 18 on steroids, forget about it. Like you're smashing people. Why this is fucking allowed is beyond me. Why this girl wants to continue wrestling? She claims, before he turns into he, that she petitioned to fight to wrestle boys. And they said no, again, because of her birth certificate.
Okay.
And that she was forced to just wrestle girls. And it's like, why? Why would you want to do that at that point?
So I guess the debate is, do they just not fight at all? Because you can't win, right? Like, I don't want them fighting girls full of testosterone, but I don't want guys that have already transitioned to be fighting women. So it's like, if you're transitioning, do you just not get to fight at all?
That's
which I'm cool with, because this is combat sports. Like, a guy can't be killing girls.
Yeah.
And a girl can't be taking testosterone killing girls. If she wants to get in the ring with the guy, I'm sorry, that seems a little bit more fair to me. But
and there was an MMA fighter.
Yeah, Fallon Fox,
who tried to fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan went on a tirade against it maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
And was just like, no, you're not going to be a dude who transitioned to a woman, beat the shit out of women in the ring.
Yeah.
Because it's unfair.
I mean, he was beating fucking girls.
Killing people.
Annihilating them.
And you're born.
They could kill.
You're born
kill them.
with bigger bones, different physical strengths. Like,
we don't deny. Like, we're not biological deniers here.
No,
like
not at all. And it's one of those things where it's like, man, that it's safety, just pure safety. like hypothetical, let's say I had a daughter in this Texas State tournament that was going to wrestle a girl on steroids. No. The risk of injury or to get hurt would be too great when you have an opponent who's got an unfair advantage. So that type of shit should never happen. Also in the Olympics is another one where you have all these, especially in Africa. I don't know why they're out of Africa. They're typically long distance runners, and because they have more stamina.
Yeah.
The men have more stamina, and they're trying to get into marathons. Typically, there's been some other occasions where it's like the 400 meters, things like that, or hurdles, and you've had the same thing where they've busted. Shit, man, I would say 10 to 20 athletes who transition from man to woman, trying to go into these World Olympic competitions and dismantling the competition, where it's just like, hey, and then they found out they were dudes later, and they were like, oh, you're out,
but
you're out
not
of there.
Fooling anyone either. But I mean, it's if you're a runner,
some of them,
like hardcore runner, like I guess the body can be, you know what I mean, like gymnasts, you're kind of like, I guess you could pass as, I don't know.
I looked at some of those runners, and there was a couple that fooled me. There was some that didn't, but there was some that did, and like I know this,
like little pigtails on the side.
Yeah, it was like Jim Carrey's Vera DeMilo character in Living Color.
Oh, okay.
and some of that, you look at them and you're like, all right, this is borderline. I don't know, but they have tests. But some of them have even passed the test. Where one of them was doing it for like fucking 8 years, housing people, and they didn't find out till later. So that's become a thing, and that's, by the way, this whole shit is only going to go on even more so. But one of the biggest things that's disturbing to me about this story is how you can start a transition before you're 18 years old.
Yeah, but that's the big debate. Like
I don't think you know enough about the world yet, or about yourself, your body, mind, about what this really entails and how drastic of a life decision this is. To do it that young, like, man, there should be an age limit in place for that type of decision, because you don't know.
And psychiatric evaluation. So that's where, like, people like me, our big debate is, because most of the time I don't care what you do, right? But then when you start killing people in the ring, you start doing, like, getting into that realm, and when you start, some countries where, like, it's child abuse if you don't let your children transition, if you don't start them on hormone blockers because they said they wanted to. I think that was Canada, something, but so that's where it gets weird. Do you know Ruby Rose? She's like this hot, like, lesbian. She was on Orange is the New Black, and she has famously come out being like, I used to want, when I was younger, I didn't know what was going on. I wanted to be a boy.
Right.
Like, I'm really, really, right now, I'm really so thankful that I didn't do it, that my parents didn't let me, whatever, because I'm happy with who I am now, whatever. But yeah, back in the day, it's like, and when you're a child, like, I was a tomboy, there's like, it's so many different changes. You are not a fully formed person until you're at least 22. I don't even think 18 is old enough to be doing, like, to be thinking about that either. Shit. I think there should be a major psychiatric evaluation along with an age limit, where doctors, it's illegal for them to do it unless you have,
Yeah.
Same with, like, a boob job. I know they can do them pretty young, but I think some of them, morality wise, won't do it to a girl who's under 17. I mean, they probably push it, but stuff like that, where they will have, like, a kind of moral line where it's like, you can't do anything like that younger than, let's start with 18. I would love for it to be older, but right?
Yeah. I believe it is 18. For like boob jobs and shit like that, but to switch genders is such a massive decision that, again, you haven't a clue or even close to figuring out life, figuring out who you are as a person, all of that shit, until you're in your 20s.
It's so
I mean, if you look back at, who you were as a person at 17 years old, it is your thought process. Everything is entirely different than
nightmare.
Yeah. Than what it is to your 20s.
Nightmare.
Because even in your, after college, 22, 23, you at least look back on everything and you're like, oh shit, this was crazy. Or I had a different thought process about X, whatever that was. Like, just because you don't know any better and you don't have enough life experience yet. And it's fucked. So on a few levels, this is why this story bothers me.
Putting kids, on hormone blockers,
Ugh.
it's a lot more common than I think you even want to think about. Like, it's so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And all these videos, I know you see them on Facebook where like these young boys are like, doing makeup and like meeting drag queens and their moms are like really behind it and like fucking fuck.
Yeah. That's
your truth, kids, but like I get mad at the mom. Like,
yeah, it's a slippery slope where you're just like, hey, look, for parents to encourage kids to do anything is admirable. That's what a good parent should do. But when you start getting into gender reassignment and not being that person, or at least trying it out.
Yeah. But I know there's some cases too where like moms like are into it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's a fun thing.
And kids just want to please their parents. And so keeping that in mind, like, don't make them do anything they, don't want to do, but they want to please you. So just keep that in mind. If you say to do something and go down this path, like 9 times out of 10, they will do it, whatever that is.
Right.
Football, baseball, hormone blockers, putting on makeup. If they see that it makes you happy, they're going to continue doing it.
Yes.
They see that it makes you pissed. They're not going to do it until they move out of the house. And they get therapy and they do it on their own, which is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And at that point, at that age, it's like, all right, great. If you're...
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Hate me. Sorry I didn't fucking give you your hormone blocker sooner.
Right.
But you can do it now if you want. Have fun.
Sorry I didn't give you your hormone blocker
take
sooner.
therapy. Here's some fucking... I have a fund for his therapy already.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For all the things that I've done. Because you're always going to do something to fuck them up.
Sure.
So whatever, just figure it out.